Hextech chests are now gone. Well, Riot's no longer giving them out, and a lot of people are pissed. Maybe you're one of the people who have been keeping up with the drama this whole time. Maybe you've seen Riot's dev blog, or maybe you are just clicking this video because you like my content and you want to hear what I have to say about it. So this is my video on the Hextech incident. I'm saying today because that's the day I'm filming this video, but on February 7th, 2025, Riot Games put out one of their dev update videos. They do these semi-frequently, I would say like once every couple of months. And it's usually a really cool look behind the scenes on what the devs are thinking and give some clarity for the players who are kind of kept in the dark most of the time about what Riot's thinking. In this dev blog, they spent the first 3 to 5 minutes of the blog talking about the removal of Hextech chests, something that's been in the game for quite some time. Needless to say, everyone on Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube is very pissed. I've seen a lot of people clip farming and rage baiting. There's been a lot of meme posts, kind of like the one you saw on the title slide of the champion made entirely out of Hextech chests. But yeah, people are really pissed about this. So TLDR, Riot says that there's too many free skins in League of Legends. Because the amount of free skins, people are grinding the game to get these skins from the Hextech chests for free rather than purchasing the amount of skins Riot is used to having been purchased from their store. Riot has tried to compensate by offering an increase in the amount of skins they've put out at varying price points. They've tried to come up with like whale specific skins. I'm thinking like the Faker Ahri skin or the $200 Jhin Chroma, something like the Nexus Explosion, Summoner Icons, all these other things in an attempt to offset how much free stuff they've been giving away. But they found that the amount of work required, the amount of money they need to pay devs or people to develop the content is not worth it for them to actually put in the effort to release those skins more frequently. So the end result is free Hextech chests are no longer being given out. I think when looking at an event like this that causes a lot of backlash, it's important to have all of the pieces or all of the contextual or relevant information available. So I built this handy dandy nifty timeline of some points along League of Legends lifespan that I think led up to this moment, and maybe can give a little breadcrumb trail to indicate, well, one, why are people so upset about it? And I guess like why Riot is doing something like this. So we start off all the way back in 2009. League of Legends is born. Beautiful. Who doesn't love League of Legends? I love League of Legends. February 2011, Tencent, the company that currently owns Riot, acquires a majority stake in Riot Games. And when you acquire a majority stake in a company, you now have the say over what direction the company moves. It is little surprise that after Tencent acquires a majority stake in Riot Games, League of Legends releases the first Ultimate skin little less than a year later. This is the first big price point skin that League of Legends ever saw. This was Pulsefire Ezreal. This is the splash art before it got reworked. This was, I believe, a 3250 skin, 3,250 RP skin. Around $30 is what you would pay to get a skin. And at the time, people were a little blown away. Like, if you had this Ezreal skin, oh my god, dude, like you got the bank, you got the big money. I think the next one might have been like a Spirit Guard Udyr, I think was the skin. That was also another super cool skin at the time. But that showed that Riot was able to produce higher priced skins that had more quality and then get a lot of sales from those skins. Jump ahead to December 2015. Tencent buys the remaining equity in Riot Games, so now they fully own the company. Here we are. Here's the man of the hour. Hextech chests are introduced to the live server in March of 2016. So Hextech chests did not exist back then as they do now. Well, I guess as they did until relatively recently. This is literally just you could have Hextech chests, you could open them, and you can get skins and champions. There wasn't really anything crazy. We didn't have emotes at the time. There wasn't masterwork chests. There wasn't any like loot bags or anything related to events. It was just, hey, here's a cool way you play the game. You play well. You play honorably. You don't get reported. You get chests and keys. And Riot started giving away skins for free, essentially. Up until this point, there was no really efficient way to earn skins for free. You could always go onto like the Facebook page and get like Unchained Alistar. You could do something with like following them on YouTube or whatever and get Riot Girl Tristana. There's like a couple of ways to get free skins back then, but this is like the first way where players could actually like earn skins for free for playing the game. June 2017, the mission system released. And once again, this wasn't the mission system that we know now in like the form of the battle pass. This is literally like very basic stuff related to event-specific things like the Riven versus Yasuo event, the Dawnbringer Riven versus like Nightbringer Yasuo. You do certain things and you would gain like an icon for like that event. But this grew into a system later down the line over the years where Riot would give away more and more free things with these missions. So everything's going well for League of Legends. They're monetizing really well. They're selling all these skins that are more and more skins that are higher priced. We see Elementalist Lux come out. We see like this Pulsefire Ezreal. We see Spirit Guard Udyr. We see more and more and more and more like premium or ultimate or legendary skins moving away from like the 975 skin to the 1850. Then, as we all know, in 2021, the esports winter starts really creeping up on us. LCS and LEC average viewership declines and declines year over year from 21 to 22 to 23. At this point, Riot Games, and along with a lot of like the esports orgs that kind of prop up the esports scene, talking like your Cloud9s, your FlyQuests, your TSMs, your Team Liquids, your NRGs, your CLGs, as we've seen in recent news, like these teams start either dropping like flies or no longer in the LCS, or they trim down their staff quite significantly. For example, like I was at Cloud9 and in late 2022, I was actually let go. So I was also affected by this. But as the industry started becoming harder and harder to be sustainable, large portions of the esports industry, like whether it's at like professional teams or at Riot, were kind of starting to slowly be shored up. So money was saved. Things have started to stabilize relatively recently, but this is after like many layoffs, as we see in 2024 part 1. We had the infamous Faker Ahri skin being released. This was met with a lot of controversy, but if we look at the history of events that have been going on, Riot has seen a lot of success in the past, where initially people were super freaked out over the Pulsefire Ezreal skin being released, or it was seen as a ridiculous price point to pay $30 for a skin. Riot, I guess, learning that players can adapt over time and quickly grew to love like these more expensive skins, could potentially look to charge upwards of $500 for something memorializing League's best player of all time. This got met with a little bit more pushback than I believe they initially thought of, but still did relatively well. And then later on, Riot still feeling like the impact of this esports winter, laid off 11% of its staff globally. And infamously, I think they even let go the person who did this Ahri skin, which is a little bit of a whoopsie. So here we are, February 7th, 2025. I can't say we're out of the esports winter yet, but Riot Games has clearly not seen the same levels of reception or adoption of their payment or monetization practices in recent years. They've trimmed back their staff. They've tried to release alternative cosmetics. It wasn't working. People are not buying the amount of skins that they said that Riot proclaims they need to keep the doors open. So they make this dev update saying, hey, this is the way it is. We're pulling Hextech chests. So my question is, why is everyone this pissed? Everyone might have a different answer at this point. What I want to do with this video is not be an apologist for Riot here. I personally think that some of the practices or choices that they've made are unsavory, and I don't think certain ways of monetizing your player base are good. I'm not really a fan of like the gacha system. I think that's pretty scummy. But when you have a free-to-play game, you need to sell something in order to keep the doors open. I just think gacha is not the way to do it. But why is everyone this pissed, right? It's just a video game. It's just some pixels. Why are we this mad? We're going to try something. This is a little thought experiment. Pretend, I mean, I know this might be asking a lot for some of you, but pretend like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or your significant other says to you one day, oh my God, I have such a huge surprise that will change our lives. Now, if you were that person and you have no other context to what's going on, like what are some things that jump into your mind when you hear somebody say this sentence to you? You have a huge surprise that will change our lives. Are you thinking, oh my God, did you just get a promotion at work? Did you just get a new car? Did you just receive an inheritance from a long lost family member who passed away? Or are you thinking something negative like, oh my God, who died? Or, you know, whose career is over type deal? And what happens to you then if after saying, oh my God, I have such a huge surprise that will change our lives, that person pulls out from behind their back like an air fryer? And it's like, oh my God, think of all the cool things that we can make with this air fryer. To me, that doesn't match up. That doesn't match my reality. That doesn't match my expectations. So let's hold that in our minds for 1 second. Let's go to the next example. This one's maybe a little bit more infamous, but whenever I go by a billboard on the highway, I might see something like this. This is the Big Mac at McDonald's. For anybody who's never had McDonald's before, it might be like 4 people. Self-proclaimed Burger King lover myself, but On the left is what McDonald's advertises their Big Mac looks like. And on the right is a picture of what your actual Big Mac looks like. Now, if you had never seen this picture on the left and you went into a McDonald's to buy this Big Mac and you ate this Big Mac, for anybody who's had a Big Mac before, are you ever disappointed by your Big Mac? I would speak for myself here and say that no, when I eat this Big Mac, I like, dude, it's 2 burgers. You got that double decker, you got that special Big Mac sauce on there. It's probably just like mayo and ketchup, but like it's a good sandwich. But if I'm sitting these next to each other, I'm always choosing this one over this one. Even though I know this is fake, even though I know this is staged, in my mind, this just looks better. It looks like it would taste better. It's brighter, the meat's more grilled, everything, it looks more full, but it's not real. And if I hold these two simultaneous things in my mind, I'm always going to have my expectations skewed in expecting this, right? And if I get this, my expectations are not being met. So why do I bring all of this up? This is a concept that I talk about a lot called managing expectations. And why is managing expectations playing a part here at all? Well, if we look at this timeline, when League of Legends was in its infancy and it's in its development stage, as the game grew in popularity or maintained its, I guess, like, I don't want to say stagnant, but maintained its current level of popularity, Riot Games added more and more and more and more and more free stuff over time, or the ability to earn free stuff. I shouldn't say free, like you have to play the game to get it, right? It's not like it's just handed to you, you have to play. But when you have nothing and then you're given Hextech chests, which is free champions and free skins, and oh, you're given missions, which is free icons and free other things, and oh, they added the gemstone or now the Mythic Essence part of chests, so now you can earn exclusive chests if you open enough of them. All of these things condition you over time to now expect that to be a part of your daily experience with League of Legends. So when that daily experience is changed, your expectations were previously set through over a decade now, or almost a decade of continuous experience with a system in the game. And I think, in my opinion, that is why people are so upset in this scenario. But why am I making a whole video about expectations? Well, I think that expectations can be applied to other things in your life rather than just League of Legends Hextech chests. For example, I gave the significant other and the McDonald's example. But what about ranked? What about your improvement? What about your experience or your interaction with League of Legends as a game? There's 3 parts to this mantra that I kind of harp on a lot. So part 1 is the expect nothing. This doesn't mean you have to be like a pessimist or a nihilist and say, oh, nothing matters at all, or no one is ever going to do anything good for me. But if you go into an experience saying, I am going to evaluate whatever is in front of me for what it is, and I'm not going to try and let other baggage weigh me down, even though it might be impossible to fully incorporate that mindset, it's something you should do. Otherwise, you're going to have everything in your life tainted by other aspects of your life. For example, if you were cheated on in a past relationship, is it impossible to go into your next relationship like completely free of that burden? I would say it's probably impossible, but should you now automatically assume your next girlfriend is going to cheat on you just because your last one did? No, like I would go into it saying like, okay, I understand that this happened in the past, but I'm not expecting that to happen now. If it happens, like shit, that sucks, but why am I going to sabotage my current life situation by expecting something that has no indication of happening in the first place? My next part is appreciate everything. When you are given something, you want to fully like appreciate and try and see the value in whatever that you have. And this doesn't mean like, oh yes, like I have nothing and somebody gave me a penny. Oh, you're my Lord and Savior. I'm so thankful now. It's literally as simple as, all right, I have a penny now. I didn't have a penny before. I guess I'm 1 penny richer. Cool, whatever. It is what it is. Acknowledge and appreciate whatever you have. And then finally, this is like the most important thing is I want people to seek to learn or to seek to at least understand why things happen the way that they happen. This is another reason why I built out this chart. Not to, once again, excuse Riot for whatever they're doing with their gacha mechanics, but to just say, if Riot is a company who has seen historic downtrends in the esports industry and weathered that storm while still trying to produce quality content, who has seen in the past success with releasing higher quality skins, for higher prices and who is trying to keep League of Legends alive for as long as possible, then it makes sense for them to try and do business decisions that would lead to League of Legends being here for another 10 to 15 years. So we're going to apply this to League of Legends. In my opinion, expectations fall on two different sides. You have expectations of yourself, and then you have expectations of your team. So expectations of yourself here that I think are unhealthy to have is like the enemy champion is so OP, or my champion sucks is probably a better example here, right? You're taking away any sort of accountability of how you play the game. You're expecting to lose the game or maybe to win the game regardless of how you play. I won my lane but lost the game. Why are you expecting to win the game just because you played well? There are 9 other people in the game who also can play well or play poorly and who can dictate the outcome of the game. I deserve a higher rank. Now you're holding yourself back by either putting undue pressure on yourself to feel like, okay, if I deserve a higher rank and I lose at this rank, man, I must be a real piece of shit, right? Do away with these expectations because they're holding you back. And team-based expectations, which I think more people have, but I think should play into 50% of it. Like solo queue as a concept sucks. My teammates are inting pigs, dude. Like I can't. Well, we've all heard that mantra before. So if all of your teammates are inting pigs, that's 4 people. If all of the enemy team is inting pigs, that's 5 people. So you would think on average over a long period of games, the enemy team would have more inting pigs than your team, right? I guess the only 2 alternatives are either Riot is purposely sabotaging your games to make it so the enemy team always have smurfs and your team only has the pigs, or maybe you're not actually as good as you thought you are, and that's okay. And then finally, my favorite is like the rank system is broken because even though I played 500 games and I have a 50% win rate, I won my past 4 games, which means I should be challenger right now. Drop these expectations, and I'm not saying you can't be frustrated with the game because it can be very frustrating. I've played solo queue recently myself, and I can tell you that some games I feel like I play well, and it's really frustrating to lose them. But what is holding the expectation that your teammates are going to be really good, or that you deserve a higher rank, or that just because you play well, you deserve to win every game? What is that going to do for your long-term enjoyment with League of Legends, and how is that going to help you improve at the game? Remember when this video was supposed to be about Hextech chests? Well, I guess I pulled a Riot Games there and mismanaged your expectations.